couldn't.
There's a long history of those stats going back to the mid '60s that you could look at.
True.
Heather McDonald has them also in her books. If you want to read Heather McDonald, she's got those stats in there as well. They're not secret. But
No.
You're right about homicide, but I'm just saying the interracial crime stats are staggering. They're just mind staggering.
Right. But the reason why I'm trying to harp and finish about the point is people can change, for example, shoplifting and say, oh, now it's $1,000. So look at that. Shoplifting went way down. There's nobody shoplifting anymore. Or if you don't note robbery, you don't count as that. Now it's suddenly trespassing or vandalism. It's very difficult to do that if there's a body. And that's why I'm saying if you focus on homicide.
I'm just adding on that's very recent alteration of crime stats in the past couple of years. There's crime stats that go back to 1960, Eric, that you can look at that are quite legit. Sure. They haven't gone back, as far as I know, they haven't gone back in time yet and altered the original crime stats.
This is
like they're apparently doing with the movie Animal Farm.
We'll get into that because that's Angel Studios, by the way, and not going well. But while we're talking about crime stats, hold on, I happen to have an interesting story here.
Police commanders in Washington, D.C. could be out of a job for allegedly cooking the books when it comes to crime data. Mark Meredith has been looking into all of this, and he joins us now. Hi, Mark.
John, I sure have. Good to see you. D.C. leaders insist the city is a safer place now than it was during the pandemic, but there are reports multiple metropolitan police leaders may soon lose their jobs amid an investigation into alleged manipulation of crime data. Now, D.C. police are not confirming this report. They say they don't comment on personal matters, but this is seen as a sweeping shakeup among the capital's police force. As the Washington Post writes, multiple high-ranking police officials have been served papers basically saying the department intends to fire them, according to people familiar with the situation. D.C. crime still.
Anyway, remember
the previous scandal was the Atlanta Police Department, which was caught working in cahoots with real estate developers in Atlanta to lower crime statistics in areas where they were building homes and apartment complexes. And they were caught red-handed. That was after the Atlanta Teachers Association was caught increasing the test scores of illiterate Black students in Atlanta to get additional federal funding. You cannot allow these people to run institutions within their own cities. Invariably, they are far more likely to commit these crimes of altering stats, as Eric is pointing out.
Well, yeah, and this is a repeat. We've covered the DC story before, but it was somebody else, like a lieutenant commander or a really high-ranking person. He came out and he said, No. I was ordered to move these stats.
Oh, he's the one who didn't. They wanted the musical chairs to stop with him, and he didn't want that, so he fingered some people.
Yep, and
but this is across the board. This is what the socialists do in these urban centers, Eric. They will simply alter the crime stats, get the chief of police in there that is willing to do it, get the one out who is not willing to do it, have a 10,000-man army. And the top chief of police guy will be forced to alter the crime statistics at the beckoning of the socialist mayor to make it appear statistically that there's no crime.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get more Orwellian Animal Farm than that.
That's true, but that's part of the reason it was so shocking that the DC mayor actually said, you know what, the crime did go down when Trump sent in the National Guard. It was like, I don't know if she was cornered and there was a gun to her head, but she did say that.
Think about Kamala Harris yesterday here in LA, where she lives, saying that Karen Bass has eliminated homelessness when there's probably 175,000 homeless people on the streets as I'm doing this show. She says, and obviously drove past them to get to City Hall. She is willing to lie for her girlfriend socialist to say that she cleaned up homelessness and crime.
I can't believe that she'd be endorsing a loser, because it doesn't look like Bass is going to win no matter what. It seems like the other one's pretty much going to run away with it.
I'm just saying what the poly markets have predicted.
Okay, well, but the polls
she's got a 60%. Got a 60%. Bass is going to have endorsements like Bashara is coming out of the woodwork. Kamala Harris will come. If needed, Obama will come. If needed, Biden will come. If needed, Nancy Pelosi will come here.
Well, there's some, I think even Spencer Pratt, who are claiming that, and I always forget her name, so I apologize, that the one who's in the lead right now will actually step out and quit the race.
That you know wouldn't be far fetched. It's Nithya Raman, who is my actual city councilwoman.
I'm sorry,
Nithya Raman.
I'm sorry.
No, it's insane. I had Adam Schiff. That was a dark period in my life.
Well, didn't you meet one?
Yeah, no, I had Adam Schiff. I have letters from Schiff. I have letters from my attorney general when I was complaining about eBay, signed by Kamala Harris, saying she can't help me with eBay. Letters from Adam Schiff trying to get some social security issue I had. All kinds of these things that I've saved and framed.
Wow.
But now I have Nithya Raman, who is again, if Nithya Raman wins, not only will we have 2 socialist mayors of the 2 biggest cities in the country, we will have 2 socialist, non-white, non-Christian mayors born in foreign countries, her in India and Mandami in Uganda. But this isn't enough to scare the Republicans. Nothing can raise Lee Atwater from the fucking grave for these people.
And I'm sorry, Mark, to correct you, but you've left out Chicago, so I'm going to say
no. But I was making a point about them being foreigners and non-Christian.
That's true.
He is not a foreigner, and he is a Christian. I was talking about of people of color. He is a person of color, but I was going a little further with the comparison between her and Mandami, both of them being born in foreign countries, and thereby allowed to rule over tens of millions of Americans simply because they were born in Uganda and India. They know how to run a city because of where they came from. and apparently nobody gives a shit.
No, they celebrate it. Isn't it great? It's diversity. Oh, I'm so proud today. Oh, I mean, I remember the Mandami Love Fest when he was getting in there. It's just like people were weeping, like finally we have Islamists that's going to run.
Well, I mean, when your last refuge is to pray for failure of a major U.S. city to prove your point so you don't have to get off your fat ass, that's a tough moral position to be in for the conservative movement. I'm rooting for the failure of New York because I didn't get off my fat ass to do anything to arrest the guy for election fraud, for civil service fraud, and for his fraud and his application for U.S. citizenship. I didn't have the balls to do it. So now my moral position is to root for the collapse of a major American city. That's insane, Eric. That's just fucking insane, bro.
Yep, well, that's the burn it down crowd, essentially. All right, well, while we're talking about crazy and insane, how about this particular driver?
Oh my God!
Whoa, what's he doing?
This woman was drunk and pissed off and literally drove to chase this kid down on the motorcycle. Wow. Then she tried to get into somebody's house.
Oh boy!
When the cops,
drunk women.
Yeah, I mean, look at here. You can see the interaction.
It's a sin. Yeah.
Okay, here we go, and we're up. This guy's on the bike, like what? Probably talking trash, but we'll see.
You look like a 10-year-old boy.
Yeah.
Oh my
What kind of trash can he be talking?
I don't know. I mean, but I'm just saying he could have been like, "Hey, watch out, lady," or something. Who knows? But
right.
I'm not saying he was a. Nobody should be chasing the person down the sidewalk with the foot car.
No, but I'm saying he looks like he's 10 or 12.
Yeah. This is Spokane, Washington. So congratulations.
Well, they're going. That's out of control up there. Starbucks has left Seattle, and the mayor simply said bye-bye, Seattle employer. So they have fled now. There's mass exodus of these companies seems to not, at least publicly, bother these Marxist mayors.
As a matter of fact, Portland is even worse. They did a whole feature. I mean, Nike left Portland.
Yeah,
think about that for a second. These companies that are established, 40, 50 years old, they're literally part of the fabric. Nope. Bye-bye.
Nope. Doesn't bother them. At least publicly.
Yeah. By the way, while you're talking about people and burning it down and Democrats, here is another addition to the Democrat Party, and I'm sure that they will be lined up to accept him. And here he is.
Wow.
I care about affordability. I care about foreign interventions. I care about the border. I'm a non-woke moderate Democrat. I think the GOP needs to be destroyed. I think the corrupt criminal government of Trump needs to be slowed down. We need to impeach the orange. Trump needs to be placed inside of a crystal. He needs to be impeached. This fat orange, tiny hands needs to be impeached. And then in 28, no Vance, no Rubio. We have to burn down the whole party.
Right.
So
Yeah,
there you go.
that's where they're going. That's where they're going. He's just being more acerbic about it. But that's where this whole movement is going with Joe Kent and Tucker and him and Candace and all the other groups.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, though, I always say that one thing about him is he doesn't really hide the ball.
No.
Out of a lot of them, he doesn't pretend like, oh, this and this and that. Nope.
Who is that guy, Dan Brazilian? That
oh God, I told you about him.
What is that guy? That animal? What is that hairy beast about?
Well, his father, I believe, is still in prison. If he didn't die in prison, for like major embezzlement. I think it's Dan Bilzerian.
Bilzerian, yeah.
He there are questions whether his father laundered money through him. His claim to fame is as an Instagram influencer, where he would, go around with all the, bikini clad women on boats and what have you. Okay. Supposedly manosphere type and, hooking up, blah,
like
blah,
an
blah, all
Andrew
that crap.
Tate, Eric, or like that?
Well, he got to start he's picking up all the women. He's rich. Look, I'm a rich playboy who has all the women. And now he's saying, oh, by the way, I hate the Jews. So I have one.
That's all I know him for.
Well, yeah. that's what his focus is. So if he wasn't talking about women, I don't think he's doing it anymore. So maybe
I've
his
never heard him
got
talk
soft.
about women. Of course, I have only seen the guy.
Well, it's been a few years. So, people, they shift interests. So one minute he was into women and money, I guess. And now he's just into hating Jews. And he's got that down well.
I mean, this guy's the most virulent of the group, I think.
Well,
is there somebody worse than him?
Jake Shields is up there with him. Who? I mean, Jake Shields, the MMA fighter. He's pretty. I mean, I don't want to rule anybody out. They all earn their place. Right. Nick Fuentes has a good, honorable spot in there.
My comic sense, if I was an SNL writer, would be to have a game show. Putting them all up with a buzzer about the Jews and just call the game show, what about the Jews? And have them answer the insane questions with their own words, with their own words, with a buzzer.
Hassan Piker.
But I guess that's too far. That's too far out for SNL. They didn't take as much acid as I did.
Well, no, I think it's a great idea because, and there's so many of them. You could have it like, the Final Four, bracketing, and then they could go against
like
each other.
Sexual Jeopardy, the home game, which I eventually gave to Howard and through boy Gary, and that's where Howard got it. I ended up in federal court being sued by Merv Griffin, but that ended up on Stern Show as Sexual Jeopardy, and SNL just completely a backwards organization at this point, absolutely gone in complete backwards comic roads.
I agree. As a matter of fact, it's at the point now where if there is a funny stint, it's like, oh, look at that. They have a funny stint.
Dude, I've never seen more coverage. I was just saying this to someone the other day on Monday morning. Variety or Deadline had 5 different articles just on various sketches that they did on this piece of shit, low-rated show. I was just like, I don't remember any articles on sketches years ago. And now there were 5 on Monday morning. About 5 different sketches. It was ridiculous with photos.
And let me guess, they all were saying the hilarious and witty and forward thinking. They taught you. I mean, so now oh, that was funny. Nobody was laughing, but thank you for telling us.
I'd like to ask my British friends. We should have a segment called Ask Our British Friends what the new SNL is like in Britain, because it's getting better reviews than the New York SNL, the American SNL now. It just started, Eric, in Britain. And I'm hearing, at least you can't trust the critics, but there seems to be a agreement that it's better than the American SNL. And I don't know if
it can be funny.
I'm going to ask my British friends if that's true.
I definitely want to see that. I mean, and the Brits can be funny. I mean, look Ricky.
Anybody could be funny. The Germans could be funny if they tried, but they don't try.
Well, that's true.
Right.